This is day one of the Constructed Championship at SorceryCon 2026. This is round 5. My opponent at the top of the screen is Vic, playing a Necromancer, and then I'm at the bottom of the screen playing Avatar Bear. Turn 1, getting Updraft Ridge out on my home site there on the back row. And his turn 1, runes, and starting the skeleton train there by creating a skeleton. Getting a runes out tells me that he's not running like a water necro deck. Fire air. He's probably trying to run a more aggressive package, which is interesting. Like, I mean, he might be splashing 2 colors there. Just because I can't imagine if he's trying to do that. Maybe he's trying to do that without Earth. I wasn't entirely sure at the moment, but I decided to play more defensively, and I kept a mortuary, a mismanaged mortuary in my hand. It is mostly in there to tech against Archimago players or other decks specifically that rely on a lot of graveyard recursion, and I suspected that perhaps this Necromancer deck might be relying on a couple of those things, and I think that was more or less true. So you see that he has got a Foul Bones out right now that can take advantage of recurring itself from the cemetery. But with the mortuary out, when we switch ownership of cemetery, so when his Foul Bones goes into the cemetery, I don't think he's allowed to recast it, because he can only cast it from like the cemetery that he controls. Tapping for a manor at Deprol. Again, a good defensive position, just because when he chooses to come out and meet me on the back row there, I have the ability to start flying things into the manor and striking and healing for 3 points of damage. 3 mana to get a Sturmgeist out, and passing turn back. So Vic, beginning his turn 3 here, he's going to play a site, which is Active Volcano. Active Volcano should trigger Boulevard of Bones, but we don't catch that until later. He's paying 1 to play a Bone Jumble. Bone Jumble will charge forward onto my home site for a point of damage. He's casting Bone Spear. Bone Spear will trigger the Sturmgeist and force it to move, take a step closer, which in this case would be to that Active Volcano. It has to move. It has to move closer to the caster. The caster being his avatar, and then he's blowing up one of the skeletons from the Boulevard of Bones to shoot the projectile. So we're just kind of walking through that and resolving that really quickly. He has spent 2. 1 for the Bone Jumble, 1 for the Bone Spear. He's moving forward with the Foul Bones, moving forward with the skeleton on the home site, and then last mana to create another skeleton. And then passing turn. So again, he's just got like a parade of skeletons coming out here, and I suspect that it's just kind of like an aggro Necromancer deck, designed to kind of get a bunch of skeletons out as fast as possible and move them forward. At this point, I point out that we missed the trigger for the Boulevard of Bones, so we're just rolling that back really quick to make sure that it was played correctly. So yeah, it would create the token. He would cast it. It would force the movement. He would sacrifice it. It would kill the Sturmgeist, and then everything else would move up, like we just saw, with the addition of, I mean, he has 1 additional skeleton, right? Because the skeleton that he sacked before would still be alive. So, flooding the board here very, very quickly with a lot of 1-power skeleton tokens. The bone jumble, potentially more of a nuisance, but again, because I have that mismanaged mortuary out, I think it kind of helps deal with some of those annoying recursion pieces that he could leverage with the skeleton tokens. I have a couple options here. I mean, I could fly the bone jumble into the manor and strike. Well, I guess I can't do that yet because I'm not at threshold. You need four air threshold to activate that ability on manor, and even with this tower, I'm still just at 3 because the mortuary only provides in a water threshold. Still playing very, very defensively, just moving, playing my sights out on the back row. And I feel more comfortable doing that with an Avatar of Air deck, just because I have more movement options open to me to propel my minions forward if I need to. And so it's better to not give him, not provide him the staging areas necessary to attack into me. At least in my mind, better to force him to draw and play those sites if that's what he wants to do. Ramping with that tower for 5 mana for a Dapperel Vampire, and then flying my Avatar of Air over to the manor. I think I just wanted to get the Avatar onto the same site as the Dapperel, just in case if the Dapperel sticks and I get to untap with it on my next turn. It is already in position to fly if I need it to push it somewhere. He's playing a Temple of Moloch, again playing it forward to create another staging area to attack into me here. Playing a Boudica on his back row, which is pretty scary because he has so many pieces on the board, and they're only 1-power skeletons for the most part, right? But if he can land attacks on sites, each one represents 4 points of damage coming in here. He's declaring an attack on the mortuary, and I am just debating whether or not I want to defend with the Dapperel Vampire. So the Updraft Ridge gives me the ability to declare a defense across it, since the Dapperel has Airborne, and Updraft Ridge would give an Airborne minion +1 movement. I'm choosing to let that one go through. There's a little snafu there with the life tracking, like I accidentally ding myself an extra point of damage there. He declares another attack with the Foul Bones, and at this point I am choosing to block it with the Dapperel. And I think this caught my opponent off guard because he didn't think that was that was a possibility. So I kind of try to explain the interaction the best I can here. But ultimately, I give a quick explanation of why it works, how it's in the codex, and I just say, like, let's call a judge over, and we'll get a double check just so you're 100% comfortable with that interaction and on board, because I didn't want to like continue with the game with that if he wasn't entirely sure of that rule, which I get because it's. I feel like this is something that doesn't come up that often unless you either play Avatar of Air or you play against Avatar of Air. So this is a really well-known interaction for players that are running these types of decks, just because it gives you like some additional mobility. And up on the screen here, you can see that I threw up the rule for Updraft Ridge. Updraft Ridge has a minor errata to make that work, where the airborne minion doesn't get +1 while it's on top of, but like it is granted that like when it like departs it or something like that, just to make sure that the +1 sticks and like carries over even after it leaves Updraft during its movement. But the important part is in the codex there under range of motion and how range of motion is determined. So the second paragraph in particular describes how when you declare a movement path, the game looks ahead and considers all ongoing effects, which include passive abilities like Updraft Ridge. And so like if a passive ability like that would allow you to get to where your final destination is, then that gets calculated and taken into effect, and your defend movement is allowed to continue. So it's taking a little bit of time here, just because the judge we called over, like again, I don't think this is like a really well-known rule. And it might even be considered kind of like a gotcha, because it doesn't come up all that often again, like unless you're playing Avatar Bear. So the judge wasn't like 100% sure. He wanted to ask another judge. The other judge wasn't 100% sure, so they wanted to check the codex. They asked another judge, and they asked like one more judge. I think there were 4 judges really quickly involved here before we got the thumbs up and confirmation that like, yeah, no, you're good to go. Like that is how the rule interaction works there with that. I think I've showcased this before in some of my previous videos on the channel, but again, that's only because either I'm playing Avatar Bear or I've been playing against Avatar Bear. So, defending the Foulbone's attack, I will heal 4 more points. Attacking with the skeleton token onto my home site, again, that'll be 4 points. I think I adjust the life tracker fairly quickly here. Yeah, because he's like attacking for 1 plus 3 from Boudica. So adjusting my life total back down, yeah, to correcting that back down to 14. Technically, I should be at 15 because I dinged myself an extra point when I was playing with the life counter, trying to decide whether or not I was going to defend the first time with the vampire this turn. But I think that's mostly fine and largely irrelevant for the course of this game and how it plays out. Yeah, Vic just continuing his march forward here with all these skeletons. If he can start getting strikes in to my scythe, it's going to hurt a lot. If he can deal with that vampire, that's going to be a huge problem for me. One of the one of my fears here was that he would have something like a kiss of death, and just like kiss of death the vampire, and then continue his march of skeletons into me. I really needed that vampire's ability to not only block and remove those skeletons, but also to heal myself for 4 points every time it did that. And I'm going ahead to using the Dapper Vampire to remove another skeleton from the board here, heal myself for 4 points. I still have 4 mana for turn at the moment in my mana pool. Tapping to move. No, I'm taking that back. I think I was considering moving, flying the skeleton into the manor, and then striking healing for 3 points, which is not a bad move. Honestly, like I might still end up doing that. We'll see how this turn plays out. 3 mana for a Screamer. I'm going to choose the Screamer on the active Volcano and force that back a step. Make that take a step back. As a tempo play, just because I know that it's going to take him another turn to march them forward unless he has some way to like cheat them forward with movement. So it buys myself more time and gives myself an opportunity to start attacking them with the Screamer. Choosing not to deal with that one skeleton on the back row and just leaving that open. Again, that was probably a bad choice, but I got greedy and I opted to fly my avatar there, so it's in position and ready to fly the Screamer or the Vampire if necessary, and then tap to draw the sight, because I wanted another sight, and I didn't want to have to draw it or tap for it again on a subsequent turn. But it might have been a better play just to move and throw the skeleton into the manor, just to remove that threat from the board, because there are some scary things that he could do with it, like play Kiss of Death or Bone Spear or something, some other attack lines that could be taken with it. So in retrospect, probably a better play just to remove the minion. When you hear a lot of more competitive sorcery players talk about the game, they talk a lot about how the current state of the game is and has traditionally been that removing minions from the board, you cannot allow minions to continue to live on the board. You can't let your opponent continue to control board state, just because it gives them a lot of tools to do things. He moved in with his skeleton to try to attack the mortuary. I moved to block with the Screamer. And then he played a Raise Militia to create more skeletons. He created 3 more skeletons, all threatening to attack in to my back row there. So he still has a lot of pressure that he's built onto the board here, but he's running out of gas. He's got 1 card left in his hand, and he still hasn't found a way to deal with the Dapperel Vampire, which I think is the biggest issue that he has right now. Like, I can let like 1, 2, maybe 3 attacks in if I really have to for 4 points of damage. But the vampire is going to keep healing every time, and it kills the skeleton every time. Untapping, drawing a spell for turn, again, because I have a sight in my hand already. So I think I can get my sights up to 5. If I don't remember on this turn if that's relevant or not, but 5 is sort of the magic number for my deck here. Most of my top end caps out at 5. Like anything that I want to play, my vampires, my Legion of Gaul, my Whirling Blades, are all 5. I do have 2 Lord of Fear in this deck, which is a 6 mana minion, and that was like a last minute change. When I was at the convention, I was talking to my locals. Like Stu convinced me to push the evil minion package a little heavier, and also maybe to include something a little heavier on the top end, just to give me more of a chance to deal more burst damage. So I'm attacking in with my Screamer, with my Dapperel, removing 2 skeletons. He still has 2 in attack position here. Again, like if they stick around next turn, they could attack in for 4 points each. I have not cast anything yet. I'm tapping for a sight again, yeah, to bring my mana pool up to 5 for the turn. Den of Evil, I could use it to ramp if I needed to, but I don't think I need to make use of all 6 mana on this turn here. And I think I have another threat. Yeah, it's just another Dapperel Vampire that I can that I play out, which again is going to continue to stabilize the board unless he has removal options here. It's going to prevent 1 skeleton from coming in. and kind of like somewhat equalizes the board here for me. Look, I guess he has 2 skeletons. He has three skeletons in total, threatening to attack in. So I can block 1 with the Dapper and heal for 4 points of damage. And what that means is, like, he would attack in with 1 skeleton, I would let it through, take 4, try to attack with the second one, and I would defend, and then heal 4 back up to 20. And then he could attack with the third one. So, like, unless he has a way to deal with the vampire in some way, the most damage that he could push in on this turn, unfortunately for him, is 4. If he could somehow remove the vampire, he could push in 12 points of damage on this turn, which is not an insignificant amount of damage. My deck is set up to burst damage similarly, using Willing Tributes and Desecrates. He's paying 4 for a Zombie Bruiser. He's creating a token. I think that's his turn. He's going to pass turn. So unfortunately, just not getting the removal that he needs to deal with these vampires, which is to my advantage. Drawing a spell for turn here. Taking just a quick peek at my hand here. It looks like I have a Willing Tribute in there. So that is in my kind of utility toolbox right now that I can use in my hand. Typically I like to use the Willing Tributes again to push that damage. The ideal turn is kind of a blitz where you can get into an undefended site, attack it with, say, a vampire for 4 damage, desecrate for another 4, and then Willing Tribute and untap and attack again for 5. So you're looking at like pushing like 13 points in on one turn. If you get that same sequence combo out like mid-late game with a Lord of Fear, that's like 19 points of damage in on a turn. So like you are like, in theory, right, on paper, you could potentially deal enough damage to door someone from almost full health on a single turn. I'm pushing in 4 points of damage with one skeleton. With one of my vampires, I'm attacking in to kill a skeleton with my other one. I'm playing a Legion of Gaul to contest the Zombie Bruiser. Getting to take a peek at his collection and removing, I think, the scariest options that I see right now. I would have loved to take that Bone Spear, but I don't remember why I picked like some of these cards. Yeah, I picked the Bone Spear. He has so many skeletons at his disposal. I didn't want to, off chance that he pulls a toolbox and then can bone spear something for 3. And then yeah, the Searing Truth was just like I didn't want him to be able to either draw cards, because he has to be looking for removal options here, or have it as a kill spell if he gets me on door. So leaving up the Screamer and the Legion of Gaul as a potential defenders in their respective ranges there. More importantly, though, the Legion of Gaul can defend against the Zombie Bruiser and just kill it and survive. And then unless he has a way to ping it somehow with another ability. I don't think he has a Foul Bones on the board yet anymore. I think those are just generic skeletons on the active volcano at this point. Moving up with one of his skeletons, so now he has 3 at my doorstep on the active volcano. 2 cards in hand. He's got 2 spells in his hand. 4 for a Death Knight. So Death Knight is going to pump up those skeletons. So they're all 2 power right now. So it gives him some tools to maybe deal with some of the pieces I have on the board here. And he's thinking this one through, because this is probably an important turn for him to just figure out how he's best going to utilize this. You have to assume that you're going to get one good turn here with the anthem from the Death Knight, and then the Death Knight is in danger of being removed on the next turn. He's attacking a skeleton into the Screamer. I do not block. He's attacking the second one, and I do not block. I can't afford to block with the Legion of Gaul. I have talked about it before on the channel, but I have made a lot of mistakes in the past where I've gotten baited into making a defend with a key piece, and I couldn't afford to block, take 2 points of damage, and have him bone spear me to remove the Legion. Instead, he's attacking with the Bruiser to invite a trade with the Legion, and I go ahead and do that. Just because I need to at least get that value out of the Legion of Gaul, because I'm already up on value from playing that card, just from the ability when it comes into play, getting to remove his three cards from his collection. And so then, in addition to being able to just do a 1-for-1 trade, is more palatable. Passing turn back to me. I got the untap on my skeleton, my vampires. I've got another. I probably attack in here with the forwardmost vampire just to remove the Death Knight out of the equation. Again, that's somewhat of our priority targets, especially in this list where he just has skeleton hordes. I can't allow him to continue to have that piece on the board and to kind of fortify it somehow or protect it. I just need to take the opportunity to remove it now. Choosing to attack in for 4 points of damage onto Temple of Moloch. Choosing to push damage instead of attacking the skeleton. Again, just because I felt a little more confident having 2 vampires spaced slightly apart from each other. That I would be able to recoup any potential damage coming in if he slipped into one of my sights or hit me. I could just heal back up. And I had that Screamer. So I played the Screamer, which is another tempo play, pushing that skeleton token back. And going out and taking the opportunity now with the Willing Tribute to untap and tap again to attack with a vampire for another 4 points in. Choosing not to hold on to the Willing Tribute further or get greedy and push my luck and keep it on board for a turn to sneak in 2 more points of damage. I really just wanted to make sure that I continued to get as much value out of my vampires as I could now. I was really afraid of him finally drawing a removal spell. He's in fire. There's a lot of things he could do here. I think I lived in constant fear of him getting maybe a poison nova and just poison novaing the entire board. He's just fortifying his position with more skeletons. He's got a lot of skeletons building up on his home site there. He doesn't want to just at a certain point he pivoted. He was waiting for a way to deal with the vampires, and he didn't want to just keep on sending them forward as fodder for the vampires. He's getting a Pudge Butcher out. and Boulevard of Bones triggered the existing Boulevard of Bones and created a skeleton token. So Pudge is out there. He has at least one air threshold, so there's always the chance that he is playing Blinks, and he's able to blink Pudge into a different position here, so he could move it onto that second Boulevard of Bones, which would be potentially dangerous. Like, I think I'm safe by attacking into that site, but in actuality he can get an attack off with the Pudge. Flying my Screamer forward onto Temple Moloch, attacking in with it onto the skeleton on the Boulevard of Bones, attacking with both vampires to door. And then I think taking a step. Well, I think I'm debating whether or not to. I mean, I have to take a step. I can't stay. I can't stay within line of sight of the of Pudge Butcher. So walking it over to the mortuary, and playing that. I think that was an illegal play on my part, because I already used the ability from the avatar to fly the Screamer. So I feel really bad about seeing that on camera. But I should not have been able to fly my avatar at that point and then tap for a site. I could only either tap for a site or move. And if we had caught that, I would have just opted to move and not play the site, because it was imperative that I get out of the projectile lane of Pudge. And I wanted to get into that lane on the left, because it provided less opportunity for him to cheat Pudge into it to get a bead on my avatar. Like, it felt more likely that if I moved onto the manor, that he could do something weird to force Pudge into that lane somehow, and also clear my pieces and allow Pudge to projectile. I'm not exactly sure what the play would be on there that would allow that to happen. Maybe a Whirling Blades. You can't Whirling Blades Pudge, but you could do Whirling Blades on Boudica or something. But I think that still wouldn't get him where he needed to be. So I have him on door. He has a lot of minions fortified on his home site, and at this point, I believe I'm hoping that I top deck. I have like one card in hand or two cards in hand, but I'm hoping that I top deck a kill spell. It's creating a token, another skeleton token. It's playing a Stygian Archer. I think I think Vic was a little demoralized at this point, just with the current board state and where we were at. I think that the Stygians will probably have been a stronger play on the back row there, just because I can potentially just trade in with the Screamer. It's not a great trade in. I think it's probably worth it just to lose my vanilla 3 at this point for his Stygian with a relevant effect. But I also have this other Stygian that I played out, and I'm flying it with Wuthering Heights, which again was an ill-gained Wuthering Heights. I should not have been allowed to play that out on that turn. It should have been. I could have played it out on like this turn. And when I got back from the convention, I found that for some reason, like, the last part of this video corrupted or didn't record. But it did drag on for much longer than what we saw. There was another 15 or 17 minutes of gameplay, I think, and it was a lot of turns of me hoping to draw a kill spell, and Vic just continuing to draw to create skeletons and stack them on his site. Eventually, he split them into two piles and put one pile in front, of his home site, but at that point I was finally able to top deck something that I needed to kill him, and got an Arcane Barrage, and was able to Arcane Barrage for enough power to overcome the horde of minions in front of his home site, plus get a projectile for 1 point in to his avatar on that site. So it was a long, it was a fun game to play. Sorry about the misplay that I made there towards the end of the gameplay video here, getting the Wuthering Heights out illegally. But in terms of the footage that you didn't see, like I tried to recap it the best I could, but I don't think you missed much. It was a lot of turns of us not top decking and not getting the answers that we wanted to get. Vic trying to stabilize the board, and then me trying just like draw anything that would end the game. And I had a lot of options in my deck, right? I have like Whirling Blades, toolboxes for a zap, for lightning bolts, a magic missile, arcane barrages. I guess a displace wouldn't do it, but I had a lot of a Ring of Morrigan. I had a lot of tools that could potentially do it, and it took a while. It took a while for me to find them, which happens. It can happen in sorcery. Sometimes you can get your opponent at the door. You can create a tense board state, and then you're just waiting for a top deck to close out the game. Thank you so much for watching. We'll move on to I believe the final round of Day 1 Constructed, round 6 next.